BJ O'Neill here with Business Coach Mastery with a video training all about why and how to bet on yourself when starting a business coaching practice. I hope you get some value out of this today. Perhaps you're in a season, you're in a scenario, you love coaching or you love adding value to people. You love to invest into others. You want to help businesses grow. Maybe you're already potentially even doing some of those things, but you're doing it for free and you'd love to get paid for it. And but you got to have clarity. And that's what we're going to talk about, the why and the how in betting on yourself. Because that's what you got to do. You don't want to undermine yourself. You don't want to undersell yourself. You don't want to sheepishly, with lack of confidence, walk towards an opportunity, because that will bring some friction. It'll kind of build some walls. It has the opportunity to make things complicated and so on. If you are, real quick, if you are considering or you're thinking about your processing on starting a business coaching business, or you're wanting to pull coaching into what you're currently doing, maybe you're a CPA or a financial planner, or you own a business, you want to invest into other people. We have a lot of coaches on our team to do that. You can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's some information that you can get there, as well as you can schedule a chat. There might be some information on this page, depending upon where you're watching this training. 3 steps on why and how to bet on yourself. So when we talk about betting on ourselves, here's what we're saying. We're saying we're going to, we're casting a ballot and with a vote of confidence that I'm going to step out on faith and I'm going to build this opportunity to invest into others, make a significant impact on others' lives, and help their businesses grow profitability. All right? So we're saying that I'm betting on myself. I want flexibility. I want to live life on my terms. Perhaps you work for someone else and you're tired of doing that. You want to own your own domain. And what we're saying is that we're going to cast that ballot on me, on making that happen. So those are great ideas, they're great thoughts, and they're necessary. But when you're not prepared, when you haven't thought it through well and accurately, that's where friction can develop. We want to avoid that. So number 1, we want to understand why. You need to get incredibly clear, or as clear as you can for today, on the purpose and the why you want to step out on faith and bet on yourself and begin investing into others, adding value, building solid relationships, and build a business coaching business at whatever size that you want to build. There's some guys only have a few clients. Some have 10 and they're earning well into the 6 figures. Everybody's needs and desires are very different from one another. There is no wrong number. There is no wrong way. But that it has to get clear. It has to be clear rather for you. So what is the purpose? Why? Is it because, man, I want to fulfill and live out a purpose. I've been thinking about and dreaming about, helping other people. I love to invest into the lives of others. Maybe you've done some coaching before in, financial coaching, maybe even in sports coaching. While it's not the same thing as business coaching, you are still investing into helping someone grow from where they are right now to where they need to go. And you love that part of it. So we want to get clear on the why. Second part of that is we want to get clear on the purpose. Like, what is the real reason? Is it, look, I want, this next back 9 of my life. Maybe you're in your 40s, maybe you're in your 50s, whatever. And in the next season, I want to own that season. I don't want to be dictated to about what my life is going to look like. I don't want to have to spend time, having to do activities that just don't feed me, that don't feed my soul. I want to control and have the flexibility and the autonomy to live life the way I want to live it. I want to go, I want to be. You need to get clear, because if that's a big part of your why, you need to get clarity as you step foot out in faith that this is a huge why. All right. So you want to make sure that you have them, and then you want to write them down. Okay. Really important. You don't want this kind of stuff to just kind of sit up here in the think tank, if you will, because it gets really muddy and it gets hard to sometimes separate the clarity of the why from all the other minutia that's going on upstairs, right? So you want to write them down, and I want to tell you to take it a step further. Once you do that, I want you to laminate it and put it somewhere. If you decide to put your why on a card and it's on your mirror in your bathroom so that you can see it every single day, if it's in an 8x11 sheet and it's part of your planner, it's in your car, or you got it in multiple places. Here's the point. You want to be able to understand your why so clear, and the only way to do that is to repetitiously to read it, to consume it over and over again, day after day after day after day. That's when you're always connected. Because here's what's going to happen. If you miss it, meaning that you get clarity to, or you're writing some of those things down, after several days of reading it over and over and over, your soul and your spirit is going to disconnect if they're not accurate. And you may say, well, I thought that's what I really wanted, and that's the purpose of writing them down. So you got to get clear on your why. The second thing is, once you got your why, I'm going to step out on faith. I'm taking a bet on my life. I'm going to invest into myself. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take control. I'm going to make live purpose-driven in helping businesses grow profitability and making an impact on their life as well. That is all great. But once you go do it, you must develop a solid plan, okay? You must develop a solid plan. You cannot drift your way into success. You cannot drift your way into success. So inside that plan, here's what you have to have details to. One, there's 3 areas. Did I get 3? Yeah, there we go. I thought I had 4 up. There's 3 areas. 1, where am I going to get leads and prospects? Or better than that, where am I going to spend my time adding value, building relationships, really connecting with the community? Or I don't care if it's in your local area or if it's abroad. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But what's that going to look like? Am I going to get invested into the local networking groups in my community? Am I going to stand in front of multiples of people to do workshops and add value and teach them some content and show them what profitability can look like in their business? Am I going to create some really cool relationships with others? We call them joint ventures in our done for you system. What is that going to look like? You got to have some solutions to that. The second leg of that is that conversion. How am I going to convert the prospects that I am talking to into ongoing, high-paying monthly clients? Okay, and then meaning that you got to have some type of plan that says, okay, I've built some relationship here. I've got some relational equity. This individual who owns this business is listening to me. They're interested. But what process are you going to take them through that's going to show them how you can help them solve some problems and grow profitability in their business? So we use a really cool assessment tool in our Done For You system in Business Coach Mastery that does that very thing. It helps really give some aha moments. It shows based upon the business's numbers, their top line revenues and their gross and their net margins and whatnot. It shows them how we can help them earn an additional 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand or more per year based upon this assessment, utilizing some very high profile software. So you got to have some type of something, and it's just not enough to have a 5-point PowerPoint slide anymore. We got away with that years ago. Really can't do that anymore. All right. So you got to have a plan to convert them. And then the third, you got to have a plan to coach your clients with simplicity. Cannot overly stress the need for coaching your clients with simplicity, especially in a very overwhelming world. You probably know that. Everyone kind of is overwhelmed, especially business owners. And so when we're taking them through a process to help them to begin to implement strategies in their business, it's got to be done in a step-by-step, guided. We understand what's happening. We can see the plan. There's clarity to the plan and so on. You can't wing it. A lot of coaches still do that. That's the reason why they can't keep clients long-term. You got to do it methodically, step by step. So in developing your solid business plan, I'm developing a plan of how I'm going to spend my time and my activity in connecting and getting to know others and building relationships. I've got a business plan that stipulates exactly how I'm going to take them through a process to be able to show them how I can help them grow profitability in their business. And then the third, I'm going to begin to do that very thing with simplicity in a step-by-step guided approach. Okay. Other pieces to the puzzle as you begin to develop those plans, as you might decide to do things that could cost some money. And so you've got to spend a little money. That's not really necessary in the beginning of, getting 3 to 5 clients, but some coaches like to do some additional things. It's up to you, but you got to have a well sought out, written out plan with clarity that is adjustable. Now, you don't want to change it all the time. But I'm a big believer in reviewing plans quarterly, okay? A big believer in reviewing plans quarterly because things change. You're not a big corporation. You don't have 30 different team members. You can be nimble when you're coaching alone, which is kind of a great part of the flexibility part. You can be very nimble, but you do not want to sabotage yourself and just constantly making changes. You want to make slight changes as you learn and as you grow. Last and third thing, it's a must that you invest into personal and professional development, okay? This is the challenge in coaching. Lots of benefits, lots of amazing things about it. But if you're not careful, you can live in isolation. And you don't need to live in isolation. I don't want you to live in isolation. And no one really wants to live in isolation, except for that tends to happen sometimes if we're not careful, especially when we don't have a plan. So when we're betting on ourselves, when we're suggesting that I'm going to take control of my life, and I'm going to step out, and perhaps, again, you're doing this already. And I talked to a guy yesterday who's doing this loosely already and getting paid a little bit, but he's overwhelmed. He doesn't have a solid plan. Has he gotten clarity on the why? And so you don't want to sabotage your results and your efforts because it can get really, really frustrating. So you want to invest in the personal and professional development. What's that look like? Well, in simple, what you're doing right now. You are learning about what we're talking about today. That is making an investment into your growth. So trainings, books, seminars. Now, I will tell you a little word of caution. We got to do those things. I went to a seminar. I'm recording this video in the summer of 2024. I went to a workshop, a seminar last week myself. All right, so I'm practicing what I'm preaching. But if you don't take what you're learning and take what you're hearing and take what you're studying and begin to put action to them, then all of that is kind of void. It really is. It's great information to know, but I will tell you, I'd say probably 80% of people who do read, who do listen to podcasts, who do learn, never implement. And I hear it all the time. Oh yeah, I read that book. Amazing. What actions did you put? Oh, well, I haven't really, put anything into action. Happens all the time. So you got to not only invest into yourself, but you got to take some activity into some actions to every single thing that you do. So lots of ways to do that. Trainings, books, podcasts, video modules, and so on. Clearly, they've got to be things that that matter to what you're currently doing. In addition to that is coaching. These days, we do not need to try to figure things out on our own. It is crazy to do that. Period. You need to be behind someone who's done it before you and walk in behind their footsteps until you get your mojo, until you get your sea legs, until you get things figured out, until you get your training wheels off. And I would even still argue you can walk behind them for a season, but eventually you're going to walk beside them, and you kind of partner together. All right. And so you got to get around a community. You got to get around other people. In some manner, you need personal and you need professional development to do this well. Otherwise, you just run the risk. Even though you're putting all the marbles on the table, you're investing into yourself, you're betting on yourself, you're going to take control of your life, but you're going to make it difficult if you don't have help, if you don't have guidance, if you don't have support. It becomes hard. Even when you have all the right tools, even when you have all the right the resources, sometimes you just need to have conversations. Sometimes it's just like I don't have a clarity on what I'm doing right now. And just talking it through and walking it through with another individual who's been there, who's done that, who can help you through the process is invaluable. Get clarity on your why. You must develop a solid plan, and you need personal and professional development so that you really have a good set of know-how in betting on yourself. You understand the why you're doing it. And now I know how I'm going to do it, and we adjust and we learn. And look, technology changes; it evolves, and so there's always an adjustment and learning and using new resources that are available to us as they are created. Just because we're in a world where there's a constant amount of creation, both in content and technology. That's never going to stop. So I hope that adds value to you. Period. And again, if you're processing all of this, I'd love to invite you to to learn what we do and how we support, Christian men specifically on building a business coaching practice the way you want it with a done-for-you system. All the resources, all the tools, support, community that you're going to need to do the very things that we're talking about today, if that would matter to you. All right? Until next time, take care.